Yo, 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 what's up? Here we are, ready to talk about Scream 8 theories, Ready or Not 2, and also some Scary Movie 6 stuff. Jake's with me. Fate will be with us soon. Jake, let's just jump right into this, man. When we talk about Scream 7 and all of the time we've spent covering it, prepping for it, and now kind of we crossed the finish line, so to speak. What's some of the new things that have been creeping into your mind about Scream 8 and any possibilities or hopes and dreams?
Dude, I'm really I was really hyped up about this update we got over the weekend, which I don't know if
Yeah.
you heard about it. The writers,
Yes.
dude, I don't think it's real. I don't think it's real at all, which bums me out. I did a ton of research on it, and like all the other production companies listed underneath these writers, who is of course the Zuckermans, Leela and Nora, if I'm not mistaken with the names.
Yeah.
They were the writers, of course, of that Buffy pilot that sadly did not get picked up. And
Yep.
dude, that kind of had, I'm sorry, I'm ranting already. We're not even a
No.
minute into this. I was so hyped up about this because I'm like, these are writers who just got like the end of a shit stick, right? Like they're,
Right.
if you pick them up for Scream 8, they are gonna be like throwing 110, 111% at that project, right? They're like, we
right.
have to have a hit. And I'm like, oh, that's the energy Scream needs right now. But you look into some of the production companies that listing is under, and it's like the most fake names. And if you look it up, they don't have websites, like all these production companies. No mention of Spyglass, no mention of Paramount either. So I don't think it's a real update, which makes me sad.
Were you thinking that? And let me bring in Fate. Fate's here too, and then I'll get back to your thought. Yo, what's up, man?
What's up?
Good to see
Yo.
you, man. Good to see it. Jake, were you thinking that this was going to be a good move if it was real? If it is real?
I want like hungry writers to be
Yeah.
attached to Scream 8. So like some like that situation, I'm like, ooh, I could see that working. I could see that being like a crazy, like weird lightning in a bottle thing where it's like you have these people in this position where like they need a hit. They just got the end of a shit stick. Like let's give them something like this opportunity to totally reverse that and do something
Yeah.
really special in such a beloved franchise.
Yeah, and they've done stuff on some different shows and stuff like Haven and Suits and Fringe. Like, I don't know
Love
if anybody
Fringe.
know you'd okay. I was just about to say if anybody knows Fringe, then you are all right. Because Fringe was so awesome, bro. I was like I was addicted to that show like Fate is to Supernatural. That's how that's how much
No
I
one will
love
ever be
Fringe.
more addicted to anything. Drug addicts aren't as addicted to drugs as I am. Supernatural.
It's so true. But yeah, it was Nora and is it Leela Zuckerman?
Yeah,
I
Leela.
think so. I think that's
Yeah.
Leela. Wow. So it could be fake stuff. Fate, do you think that this is not really gonna pan out?
I mean, even if it is true, there's still no guarantee that they're going to actually be. I mean, writers change all the time before projects begin. I mean,
It's
even
true.
Jude, who's the one that put it out, like he even said in his comment that like hey, like things can change, so keep that in mind.
Yeah.
Whether it's true or not, I mean, time will tell. I do. I mean, I obviously I was backstage while you guys started, and I know you were waiting for Jake to finish his rant. God, Jake. No,
I do that. I do that quite often.
but no, in all seriousness, right? Like, I do agree. Like, I want hungry writers. I think we need new writers, period. But I do
Yeah.
worry about their kind of recent projects. The last recent projects have not bode well, right? People
Yeah.
liked what was it, Poker Face or whatever, or what was it? Is that
Poker Face, yep.
People like that, but they like got rid of everybody and are redoing the series with someone else, if I'm not mistaken, right? Like, and then the Buffy thing, again, we don't know exactly because the studio didn't come out and was like, oh, it's because of this. But like all the talks of like the reason it got canned was it was just not good. That
Yeah.
it was just not like, and I heard other things like, it was like a very Mary Sue, girl boss, but that's always been Buffy, which I think is
Yep.
weird. And I'm not, I even said that in the video that I made earlier today about it. Usually like the whole, Mary Sue thing, I know a lot of people like are kind of turned off by it because Disney just like went crazy with it. But like, I don't mind it with Scream because you like Sydney is a girl boss, right? Like,
Right.
so I
She's
think
the girl boss.
yeah. So like if it's like if people's concern, again, I'm just going off of I don't know. I'm just going off of the information that came out about it. But that was like a big thing that like Disney's trying to move away from, because of She-Hulk and all that other stuff, trying to move away from the girl boss thing, which again, like Scream, I think if that's true, would fit it perfectly. Like Buffy's always been that, right? Like that's the whole point. That's literally the point of the show. She's a normal girl that just gets like superpowers, right? Like, so like, I don't know, like some of the things I'm just worried. I look at their projects and I'm like, none of them have really panned out. And a lot of it has been concerns about the writing. So I'm like, is that really who's best for it? Somebody that like their track record is like, you know, writing isn't good enough to sustain success. Right. But I don't know. Like I just want some new creatives. Right. Like, I mean, we talked about this on the last Lethal stream, I think, where, you know, Jake brought up like, do the Evil Dead thing. Like, what does this look like with them as the writers and like a different director? And if it doesn't work, okay, here's some new writers and a new director, right? Like, and you can kind of mix and match. But anyway.
Yeah, I mean, I think they definitely need to kind of go down that route, because we need some fresh ideas, we need some hungry people, and we need to move the story forward in an interesting way, but also in a way that makes sense. And I think that this is the time to do it. I mean, if you look at what we got in Scream 7, I think, you know, when you really boil it all down, it's a story that is somewhat handcuffed to its own success, which sometimes that can happen to a franchise at this point. But yeah, I mean, I would love to have some new minds going forward for Scream, something that would really make me, as I'm watching it, just kind of tilt my head and be like, oh, wow, that's an interesting way that they're doing it. And like you said, Jake, and Evil Dead is a great example of it. I mean, they've been able to find new ways to tell this story that is so much more simple than Scream. Like Evil Dead, I mean, you know, yeah, you've got the Deadites and you can expand on all of that type of stuff, but somehow Scream has really just stayed very narrow, and I think it should open up, man. Like what if we had a story where there was like more than just one group being attacked by Ghostface? Like it's another group that kind of marries into another group, you know, just to have kind of that dynamic. Like they don't know each other, so of course they won't trust each other, and that could be a lot of fun for the characters. You know what I'm saying? Like
why not just do like a sorry, go ahead. Sorry.
No, go ahead.
No. I was just gonna piggyback. Imagine like almost like you're trapped in a cabin with like a bunch of people you don't know, and Ghostface is just running through. Like that's been done movie wise a million times, but it's never been done as a Scream movie. I've even said I'd prefer them to rip off other films and incorporate, but because all they keep doing is just ripping off their past movies instead of ripping off the same thing we've seen over and over again. I'd rather you blatantly rip off a different movie and just throw Ghostface in it, right? Like,
and that's what Scream has done. Well, and to piggyback off of both of those things, that's what Scream has done at its best. Like, I mean, dude, the opening scene of the original Scream is just When a Stranger Calls, but
that's all that it is.
Literally,
right? It's that, but it's so 90s. I mean,
the
you know,
opening scene of Scream 2 is a ripoff of He Knows You're Alone. Yeah, like that was an old 80s slasher from like 81, where you had the two girls in the theater and they didn't know that the killer was right there.
Yes, and I would love.
It's a compilation.
You know, it's literally like, it's a playlist of the best
it's like
horror
greatest hits. Little Scream.
Something else I want to throw towards that though, real quick, is have you guys seen the movie Werewolves Within from Josh Rubin?
No, I've wanted to watch that.
I feel,
dude,
I don't think so, but it sounds familiar. I feel like
it is basically a Scream movie in the sense of like you're trying to figure out who the werewolf is, you know, the whole time. And it kind of, most of it takes place in this like snowy cabin in the woods. And it's, I don't know, it's awesome. And I remember watching that movie and being like, dude, if this was a Scream movie, this would go so hard. Like I would love to see something like that. A bunch of people on vacation at this like snowy luxury cabin in the woods kind of thing. And there's a ghost face running around. All these different groups of people, and they're in totally different situations. And not just the same kinds of characters again, dude. We keep getting
Yeah.
high school kids or college kids, you know, or legacy characters. It's nothing anything else than that. Give us different dynamics, different relationships between people.
Give me a
Mhm. Yeah, I
knives.
agree.
Give me a Knives Out with Ghostface.
Wouldn't that be
You know what I
amazing?
mean?
Ooh.
Like, yeah, give me a Knives Out with Ghostface. Imagine that
Yeah.
you just have these awesome kills. It's just this complete, all new characters. You have no idea who anybody is. You don't know who's the new Sydney. You
Yep.
don't know who anybody is.
You don't trust
right?
anybody because you don't
trust
know them.
anybody. And then people, and then all you see the entire film is just Ghostface picking off people one at a time.
Yep.
And you don't know, is it one killer? Is it two? Is it, you know, half of them? You know, you could
Yep.
have like 10 new characters that you just throw in, like Jake said, cabin in the woods, snowed in or whatever, or they're at a resort, right? Like, I mean, you could even rip off I Still Know What You Did Last Summer, and all these people thought they won a vacation, right? All these
And
people- all
include
these-
Jack Black.
Yeah, include
Yes,
Jack Black
it's
as
the
a
same
Jamaican.
character.
Yeah, every time I think of Jack Black now, I think of Scary Movie, where he's like,
Yeah.
and what about the fat Jamaican motherfucker? I want to kill that. every time I think of that. But
But that's
yeah,
a great point. No, I
Yeah.
mean, like, if you could do a Scream film where you have a different setting and that the way that the characters assimilate, you know, like I said, maybe it's two different groups of characters, or like you said, we don't know any of the characters. We're starting right off fresh. But think about and I don't know about you guys, but I'm a fan of Knives Out. And specifically, like how the mystery unfolded. Like it wasn't just like, yeah, that's the bad guy and we're all the other good guys. You know, it was like there was a story to it. There was a way you got into it. And Scream used to, well, that sounds so bad, but Scream used to be able to do that. And they really, it feels like they've kind of lost their way. And I don't want to make excuses for them because we're talking about 7 films in 30 years. So at some point, look, you know, everybody has an off day. A broken clock is right at least twice a day. But I'm just saying, it's like ultimately at the core, it's the mystery and it's the characters and the way that the characters interact. Everything else kind of vibes off of that. Like even Ghostface, in my opinion, don't get me wrong, I love to have a good Ghostface. I think 7 did have some good Ghostface moments pre-unmasking. But at the core of it, you got to get the characters, you got to get the mystery, you got to make us at least have somewhat of question marks in our head when we're watching it. And that's what I want from this new film. It'd be so great to see it take a big left turn. That works. You know, that works. That's the important part. Anyways.
they're too safe and predictable.
Yeah.
You know, that's the biggest problem with Scream right now is like you just, you know, the same 7 characters are gonna live, and you know, like
Yeah.
I mean, we talked about it, like it was like, okay, who's gonna live, who's gonna die? Okay, well, all the characters you assume that are gonna live are all gonna live, and all the new characters are all gonna die. And that's exactly what happened. Like there's just no risk anymore. There's no nothing. And it's probably part they like them as actors, which is great, but like it's a horror franchise. This isn't like a drama or a rom-com or something where you can, you know, you can just keep having these people come back. You know, and then not just that, but like again, like I'm sure part of it is some of the backlash, you know, like when Randy died, people like they're probably worried about like, oh, if we killed Chad, people are going to be upset. But that's the point. They're supposed to be. You're supposed to draw out an emotion, right?
Yeah.
Like people hated when Randy died. This was in the internet era, and there was so much backlash. Wes Craven almost brought him back because they were going to put him in witness protection or whatever. But then luckily decided not to. I mean, look at Stu. I mean, people are still to this day furious Stu died, and he was a killer, right? Like people still right? Like, so, like the thing is that they just keep like they keep playing it too close to the chest. So if you're not comfortable killing these people off, fine, do a movie without them.
Yeah.
Well, and then just like the beauty of Scream is it can be something different every time.
It can.
It's not. It's not a Jason. It's not a Freddy. It's not a Michael. Where you kill them, you either have to go the supernatural resurrection route, or you have to retcon the entire franchise. Right? You don't have to do that with Scream. You can just keep. It could be every film could be an entirely like, what is it? The slasher, right? The anthology series. You could literally do that, just better. Because it's Ghostface, so it's more recognizable. Each one of those seasons is a completely different story, completely different killer, completely different everything, right? They don't they even have like the twins as a killer in like season 3 or whatever? Is it one of the twins? Isn't it?
Yes.
Aren't they like or sis or brother sister? I don't know if they're twins, but
Mhm.
yeah, isn't it? It's like you literally could you could literally take that model, rip it off, and add Ghostface. There's so many things you could just add Ghostface into. Like
It's
so many
just-
new
yeah.
stories that we just haven't even
Yeah.
tried in this franchise.
Insert
across 7
Ghostface
movies.
here.
Yeah, dude. I was saying this on my stream earlier, and I'm like, I don't think we've done well. Okay, let's go back to the original for a second. Randy says everybody's a suspect.
Yeah.
When was the last time everybody was actually a suspect in the Scream franchise? I would say the first movie. That's a problem, right? I mean, like
that is a problem.
Sydney's not going to be the killer. Gail's not going to be the killer. You know, Dewey's
not
not
gonna be the killer.
Surviving characters are just not going to be the killers unless we did some crazy shit a long time ago. But at this point, it's not going to happen. You keep bringing back legacy characters, it's only going to hurt the murder mystery.
Yep. Yeah, and you know, one thing that they could do, and we saw this with Nev Campbell, you know, not being in 6, you gotta get a little vacation. You know what I mean? Like, in other words, and don't get me wrong, now that I've seen her back and Tatum, I am curious about what they might do with those characters if they choose to do that. But the other side of me that's looking at the big picture of the franchise is thinking, what if the next movie was just a whole new group of people? Whole new group of people. We have no idea what's going on. And they craft something that's really cool. That would be awesome. Like nobody's expecting that. Hell, maybe even half of the fandom wouldn't even want it. You know what I mean? But that's part of what you're talking about, is that the mystery is gone. We almost figured out this whole movie through all of our live streams, on all 3 of our channels, and us individually talking about this film. We pretty much figured out the whole movie. That's a problem.
All 3 of these movies, we basically got exact. I came on a stream and was ranting for 10 minutes about all the things that I would hate if they incorporated Scream 6, and they literally did all of it. Like,
I remember that.
Literally, I was like, if they do this, and this, I'm gonna hate it. And then they did all of those things, and everyone was like, "Fate, how can you hate this movie?" It's like, did you not listen to the 10-minute rant? Right? Like,
Well, it is the greatest movie of all time.
It is,
Absolutely.
along with Halloween Kills. You know
Of course. I mean,
course.
you know,
Don't
that's
forget
1 and
that.
2 right there. I mean,
Pretty
come on.
much.
it's amazing
1A
how
and
much
1B.
taste has
Yeah,
lost,
right,
you know?
right.
Man.
All right. Well, listen, for you guys, for all you guys that are here, by the way, we appreciate you being here. Definitely let us know what you think about what we're talking about. But also, guys, you know, just to kind of, we're going to piggyback again. We keep piggybacking off of each other. This is ridiculous. But with Scream 7, with the box office, I mean, we cracked 204 million worldwide. I mean, Jake, I mean, this is crazy, you know, the greatest Scream film ever, according to the according to the dollar bills. What do you think about that, and what do you think it bodes for the franchise?
Well, first of all, any horror movie making $200 million is something to celebrate. It doesn't matter what the movie is. Doesn't matter if you liked it or hated it. Because this movie made $200 million, that weird script that's, you know, somehow getting pushed to the studio might have a better chance of being greenlit now, because horror is booming. And this is just another sign of it. So, you know, however you feel about this movie, this is something to celebrate for the horror genre. But my thing about it, and this has never been more true than now, is that, you know, obviously money does not reflect actual reviews. Listen, if the Minecraft movie can make $1 billion, that's
right.
So can, you know, any other movie that gets put out with enough press. And that's just it. I mean, Scream 7, I mean, proves that if you market the hell out of your movie for 2 months straight before it's released, and this is a franchise that has a built-in fan base, you know what I mean? Like, if you just do that and you make sure that every living soul on planet Earth knows that a new Scream film is dropping, they're going to show up to the theater no matter what. And that's Scream 7 proof is in the pudding. You know, everyone's talking about, why did this movie make so much more than the last 2? It's because the marketing campaign is the craziest one I have ever seen. I've almost been doing this for 7 years. Easily, this has been in quantity wise, the craziest marketing campaign for a horror movie I have ever seen. 50 million TV spots, 5 or 6 teaser trailers, a whole bunch of trailers just in general. It was nonstop. Controversial, you know, pairings with different companies where it's like we're scratching our heads. People, no matter if you loved this film or hated it, people were talking about Scream 7. And there's no such thing as bad press, a concept concept we have talked about many, many, many times before on these streams. So
yeah.
it making 200 million, great thing for the horror genre, but I think it was also very expected based on how just controversial this movie was. No matter who you were someone out there was talking about Scream 7 in your ear.
Yeah. Fate, how about you? What are you thinking?
Yeah, I mean it's absolutely an accomplishment. I mean, it $200 million. But something that I've talked about and we talked about before is like it's really the dollar amount, right? Like, so people get upset with me sometimes. I see it in the comments because I break down, like I did a video breaking down the numbers and I was like, yeah, 200 million is great. And I'm not trying to take away from that, but it's what is the profit? You make $200 million and you don't make any money. Who cares? Right? Like you're losing money, right? Like, so the thing is, like we talked about on the last stream, and each Scream movie has cost 10 million more to make, right?
Yep.
Now you have the new benchmark. Scream, and this might go into them almost being forced to go creative because you're talking about are they really going to be able to do a $65 million Scream movie on top of marketing and everything? There's no shot, right? Like, so they're already capped. They've only yes, the movie made 200 million. Again, very impressive, right? Like Jake said, any horror thing, and this is going to be good for other horror projects, stuff like that. There feels like, and we talked about it before Scream, right? Like there seems to be this horror renaissance coming with The Conjuring and all these other films that kind of rode that hype.
Yep.
Scream was one of them, but it's only going to make, I think, 20 million, when all is said and done, which is great. I mean, that's a 20% investment, or return, right? That's great. But it's going to change the way that they're going to have to approach this. And, I got a lot of comments like, who cares about all that stuff? And it's like, you should, if you want Scream to continue, it's important, right? Like,
yeah.
And the movie from a Scream fan perspective, like I said, the casual audience seems to love this movie. It's the Scream fans. But like Jake talked about one of the streams, like this is a modern slasher. It's not really Scream. This is more of a modern take. So they might have to kind of change the identity of Scream in a lot of ways, which might force to get cheaper, right? Like Knight was saying, with Isabel May, Tatum, and Sydney, like I want to see that. I do too. But one, they might not be able to afford it because you have to pay Sydney probably more money for 8 than you did for 7. Isabel May's probably going to want more money for 8 than 7. Gail Mason, which is another reason why I don't know why they keep keeping these people alive, because it's like the way to cut costs is you kill them, right? Like
kill them, man.
Yeah, you know what I mean? Like, so now it's like, oh no, we really didn't want to, but we had to, right? Like, but like I also my concern is that you're just going to keep doing the Sydney thing all over again, just without Sydney, and as successful as this movie has been, my concern is like, is that going to be able to stay and be maintained if we just keep doing the same thing over and over, right? Like, Scream fans are not very happy, enthusiastic about this film, right? Like, and each film, it's just the sequel route. Each film loses, lower ticket sales, right? Like I talked about, they use IMAX and stuff like that. People are like, it's another thing that's important. Again, people don't like, oh, you're putting too much emphasis on that stuff. It's important because yes, it's made 200 million, but if 20% of sales, last I saw it was 10%, but if let's say 20% of sales are IMAX, that means this film sold fewer tickets. That means it sold fewer tickets than 6. It sold fewer tickets than 5. So yes, the hype is there, but again, what is the audience demand? At some point, you're not going to be able to keep, like, there's not another thing after IMAX and all that other stuff, right? Like, what are you going to do? You're going to be hiring people, like, hey, you want to go see this in space? Right? Like, you know what I mean? Like here's a $100,000 ticket. That's like, and and again, I know people are like, oh, I'm trying to be the bad guy, but I'm not. I'm passionate about Scream. I want Scream to still be successful. But all of this little nuance stuff is important because that's all the studio cares about. Studio doesn't care whether we love the movie or not. They're looking at it like, how much money does this make? And the next one make as much, if not more. And my concern is like, will Scream 8 be able to do that? Use the Stu gimmick, use like I said, tactics with IMAX, stuff like that. I don't know. I have my reservations. It's
It
an
would just
accomplishment with I have my reservations. Go ahead, Nick.
no, I agree, man. I mean, yes, it's great that it made this milestone and so forth. And like Jake said, and I totally agree. A win for Scream 7 is a win for all horror. And horror
Yeah.
needs to keep getting wins, just like at the Academy Awards. We need to keep getting wins. We need to keep moving forward. We need to keep getting people to support films in theater, so that we can get the smaller, more unknown gems. We can get those to be made and also give a chance for some new visionaries, some new great minds behind the camera and in front of the camera, of course. But like you were saying, Fate, I just wish that whoever comes on board for 8, if nothing, obviously I want them to have, some talent, but I would love for them to have the mindset of let's do Scream in a different way. And I'm not saying that they're gonna like totally break the formula. There are ways to do a quote unquote Scream film, but to really change it up quite a bit. And we've talked about it 1,000 times. We've said 1,000 different examples. That's the type of person I would love to see try to handle Scream 8. Like, to do something different. That would be so cool. And it ultimately, I think, would help with the longevity of this franchise. And that's, I mean, like I said, $200 million, over $200 million is great. But at some point, people are going to just be like, all right, it's just another Scream movie. I mean, we've seen that even with other great franchises, legacy franchises like Elm Street, Friday the 13th, even Halloween. And I don't necessarily, and I love those franchises, but I don't want to see Scream go through that. I'd rather them be ahead of the curve and think further ahead. I want them to think to themselves, okay, these are what these other legacy franchises did once they got to part 5 and 6 and 7 and 8. What did they do that worked? What did they do that failed? Like, I, and I'm not even smart about this shit, but I'm thinking about it and it makes sense to me. And it's like, and of course, like you said, the studio doesn't care. They just like, hey, as long as we get people to buy those tickets, that's all that counts. But for the directors, for the writers, for the people that say they have the passion and the respect and the love for this franchise that is 30 years old, and I'm not discounting their love and passion, but I'm just saying it's like you also got to think this way too.
Well, and we also, I feel like we've gotten so many Scream movies from either the same people or just the same group of, we've gotten the best ideas from these people already. And I think that's why throwing a new perspective at Scream will give us just something we haven't seen before. And isn't that what you want from a new sequel? You know what I mean? You're not going to get that from the same person over and over and over again. Eventually, you run out of ideas, no matter who you are. And I think that we just need a fresh perspective from someone who's either like a huge fan or has a really good idea. That's why when Christopher Landon was originally announced to be a part of this, I mean, I was jumping up and down. I mean, this is a dude that everything he has done pretty much is in some way inspired by Scream,
Yeah. That would have been cool.
Like something like that.
Yeah. I mean, it's one of those things where, like the thought where it's like, man, I could do better, but in reality, you can't. This is one of those things where I really do think fans could do better. Right, like just based on what we've gotten, like, and it's not like it's just like you said, you sometimes you need that outside look, like Jake said, you have the same people doing the same thing over and over. Like we've all looked at something and been like, or like reviewed a paper in high school or whatever, right? And they're like, all right, it's good, there's no error. And then the teacher looks at it and there's like 15. And you're like, there's no way. I checked that thing 22 times. I ran it through a scanner.
I wrote this thing with AI, damn it.
Right?
No way.
Damn it, you chat GPT.
Man, I wish I had that stuff growing up. But because it's just the outside perspective, it's the somebody being able to see and take a step back and go like, hey, this isn't working anymore. And I just, again, it's the problem. I think you're right. Like the creatives, the studio doesn't care. The studio just wants to make money. So to me, it's up to the creatives, right? The creatives need to be passionate about wanting, like, hey, let's really do something here, And like Knight said, like, look at the ones that set the example, both good and bad. You know, the fact that you're going to be in the 8th installment is an accomplishment in and of itself. Like, that's ridiculous. But, you know, you can't just get flat, right? Because then you're not going to be able to get to a 10th and then a 12th and then a so on and so forth, right? And, you know, my hope is that they get some just new minds, right? If you don't want to get rid of Guy and you want to like have him be an executive writer, right? Like he can, you know, he can be the guy that flips the coin on this idea or that idea, right? Like, you know, you don't have to fire people. You could bring new ideas in. And, you know, there are some things that he does, as much as I criticize him, there are some good things that he's had in these Scream movies. But, you know, if you could kind of take some of those core ideas, add some new ones. I think you need some people that like Jake said, I wouldn't hate and I don't know why studios don't do this more. Like, get like a fan in there and just get their perspective. You know what I mean? Or get a couple fans, right? Like, you know, have a couple higher, you know, just to get that perspective. There are a ton of fans that are, you know, want to be writers or are writers or trying to become writer or whatever, like different levels. Like, why not kind of just hey, what
have
do you
a
think?
think tank?
Yeah, have a think tank, right? Like, you know, have multiple creative ideas. I mean, it looks like Scream just goes on Reddit anyway, right? Yeah. Like half the stuff to keep coming out. So why not actually hire some of those people to grade it out? Or hire some YouTubers that have a good finger on the pulse or whatever. Like,
you would
I'm
think
not even.
that
It doesn't even
something they would have thought of by now.
It doesn't even have to be us. There's much bigger people than us that even like if you want to do like a bigger person, right? Like, you know, and you know, again, it's just I don't know. You got to do something different.
You do, because the DNA of Scream is just it's special, you know, and it is more of a story driven, character driven slasher than a lot of the forefathers, you know, and I think that because of that, they really need to think of it differently. They have to kind of get into this, right? Make the story better, make the mystery better. But anyways, that's enough of that. Let me just let me jump to the chat real quick. We got Mr. Master Mind Killer coming in. Thank you so much for the super chat. We appreciate it. Scream should do a Shining meets Identity movie. Oh, wow. That's a combination. Both are great films, though. Have you guys seen Identity? Do you guys know that movie?
You know what?
I feel like I have. What is that? What refresh my memory.
John Cusack. You've got... It's like 8 people. Well, I don't want to give it away because it's really, really good. But you've got John Cusack. I'm
almost positive I've seen that.
Yeah, and you've got these people. I think it's 8 of them that basically get stuck at this hotel, and it's a murder mystery.
So it's so funny. Shout out to Sarah if she's still out there. I saw her earlier. She told me to watch this movie. I suck and I forgot about it. And I never got around to it. Now it's being brought up again. I need to sit down and just watch this.
Ray
Sounds
Liotta,
great though.
Amanda Peet, Pruitt Taylor Vince. It's a really cool cast, and Alfred Molina's in it. Jake Busey. It's good. I don't want to say.
I'm pretty sure I've seen this movie.
Okay, yeah. Don't look up any trailers or anything like that. It's from James Mangold, so it's you know, it's good shit.
Okay,
but it's a great murder mystery. Like at the end,
I've seen this movie.
At the end of the movie, or you know, as you go through the movie,
this movie's old, right?
It's like 03. Yeah, it's like 23 years old, something like that.
Yeah.
Once I got to the end of the movie, my jaw dropped. I was like, "What?" You know, and it's a cool film that you can watch more than once and you get new little things in it. Like I agree with that. It'd be cool to have that type of a mystery going on where you're in the fucking dark, you know, until whatever 10 minutes left in the movie, if that would be a great Scream film. I don't know about the Shining aspect of it, because I don't think we should go supernatural, but if it's something where you're isolated, then I get that, if that's what Mr. Mastermind Killer meant. Definitely isolation is always good. I can deal with that.
I love the idea of an isolated Scream movie, though, just
Yeah.
in general. Like the idea of being stuck in one location for whatever reason and there's a killer on the loose. Like, I'm actually shocked we haven't done that in the Scream
Right?
universe. And a ton of other, like, YA murder mystery movies have done that recently, but
Yep.
not Scream. Like, which is like
Yeah.
Bodies, 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 I think is like the biggest example.
Mhm.
I love that movie. Everyone hates it. I don't care. I think it's great. But something like that with Ghostface, again, I feel like would be amazing.
Yeah, I think so too. I mean, but like I said, what do we know? What do we know? We got Chris in the house with a super chat. Thank you so much. What about a Ghostface being blackmailed into killing a reluctant Ghostface? I actually talked about this once before, even hoping that in 7 maybe we could have that as the new type of freshness added into the story. But if you have a Ghostface killer that is being forced to kill, that could be amazing. And it's just a small, I mean, I don't know if people would think of it as a small or big wrinkle. To me, it's a small little wrinkle because it's still Ghostface killing. Now we just have an understanding of what's behind that particular Ghostface killer. But I think it would be huge because it would make you think differently about that Ghostface killer. What do you guys think?
They wanted
This is
to
what
do that
Scream
in
7 should have
5.
done.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, they were going to do that in Scream 5, weren't they? Wasn't that the original plan for Scream 5 with Jill? Where Jill was going to survive
Jill,
and
yeah.
a killer was going to go around and
Mhm.
knew her secret. So she was going to
Yeah.
have to kill and do stuff to like cover up her secret. Right.
Yeah.
So, I mean,
Yep.
yeah, I mean, they've had the idea at least before. Like, why
Yeah.
not implement it?
I know it would be amazing, and again, you get this whole idea of a POV from Ghostface point of view. Like that would just be cool, man. Like
Like,
as much as Six had some crazy ass moments, that opening and then seeing Tony Revolori go to his apartment and he's talking on the phone and he's like, and I'm like, holy shit, this is like wild, and that
that would
was
have been
fun.
something. That would have been something great with Sam. Like, imagine a Ghostface
Yes.
captures Tara and is like, "You're gonna do everything that I was gonna do." You know what I mean? Or like, you could
Yep.
do something with like Stu, right? Like, if you were to bring Stu back, like, had Stu been like like or like, how far would Sydney go to protect her daughter? You know what I mean? Like,
Dude,
there's all kinds of
it
things that
writes
you could do.
itself,
You know what I mean?
bro.
Like, there's a
writes
lot of ways you could do
itself.
that, right? Like, like, what if a killer's just not like, I have Tate? Like, what if Jessica was like, I want you to kill all her friends, otherwise she dies. How
Yep.
far are you willing to go, Sydney? Right?
Yep.
Like, and if you don't kill them, then I kill her. Right? And
Yep.
like, you could have just like, I don't know. There's a lot of ways you go about it, but anyway.
It writes itself.
I would have loved to have seen Lucas in this new movie be forced into that position by his mother. Like, I just
yeah.
that would have made so much more sense, I feel, with the ending.
Yep.
I love the idea that he's like, because he could have been the obvious one. He could have been like the Billy of the situation, where it's like he's talking about the true crime, but what you don't know, the twist is that like he gets that from his mom, who's like
Yeah.
more obsessed with it than even he is, and then he's kind of forced into this. He's like, I just kind of like watching true crime. I don't want to actually be a part of it, or
Yeah,
something.
yeah.
That could be the aspect to that killer. And I think a killer like that would be an interesting one to see survive, because they're complex. You know what I mean? It's
Yeah.
not so night and day about that kind of character. Like, it's not so much you're kind of a villain, you've done some evil stuff, but also you were forced into it. It's kind of like it's a moral quandary thing.
Right.
So I don't know.
You
I would love to
sympathize with
yeah, I would love to see something like that in a Scream movie. It would make you think.
It would, man, because think about this. As much as I love so many of the Ghostface killers, and Jake, we've talked about the reveals and the motives of every single one. There's legendary killers in this group, but we don't have enough variety. And if you have someone that is sympathetic or forced to do it, or however you want to color that, that would be such a cool addition to all of the other Ghostface killers that we've seen that have always kind of been kind of in that lane of, psychotic, they want revenge or something like that. Like, this would be, and it's not even a big thing. It's really not, but it would be. You get what I'm saying? It would be
Yeah.
so cool. It would be so cool to have a killer position like that.
Any sort of like moving away from the norm in Scream would be such a big deal though, because like we never do it. I mean, it's always so cookie cutter. So anytime you
is.
go like a little against the grain, no matter how well executed it is. I mean, I have to admit, dude, unmasking a ghost face halfway through Scream 7 was like just conceptually cool, even though it was crazy disappointing when the mask came off. And it's like, it's the creepy guy from the coffee shop. Like what? In the moment, like, dude, him getting hit by the car was like, that was so cool. And then it's like immediately ruined 2 seconds later.
The air just pops out of the balloon.
Yeah. There was a second there where like Scream 7 had me, you know, it was like, oh, that was cool, you know? So,
yeah. Absolutely.
Have you guys, I'm trying to find, hang on, give me 1 second. I'm trying to remember. It has LL Cool J in it. It's the
Minehunters.
I'm sold.
Is it Minehunters?
Where he's
I thought it was that, but that's
a group of
they go to the island or whatever.
Yes, Minehunters.
Yeah, is it Minehunters? Because I know there's a show called Minehunters, and I was like, is that the show or is that? So that movie's great. I would. What if we got something like that meet Scream? Yeah. Right, like where it's all these like special ops people that are going to like a training thing, and one of them is like obsessed with Ghostface and just like wants to kill all his competition. So he just goes and puts on the Ghostface mask, and it's like some like, you know, trained operator that just starts taking everyone out, right? Like, I think that could be great. I mean, that first off, that movie is fantastic. The one something like that I think would be cool. Like, it's not Scream, but it is, you know, like it's just like, but it's so different, right? Like, but there is also the, you know, taking away from you know, what Scream is. But I just feel like they already kind of are by turning it into a modern slasher, right? Like, you know, like how far can you go with just Ghostface? You know what I mean? Like, does that make sense? Like, before it's like, is it still a Scream movie or is it not? Like, you do Scream 8 and it's like, you know, it feels like Tron or something like that with Ghostface in it. Like, you know, that might not work. But I'm thinking of like, you know, like I said, like Knives Out, you know, like Mindhunters thing where it's like, you know, it's something so different. Like you said, getting away from the teens, getting away from that. It's a bunch of cops or whatever that are training to become, you know, like these special ops people or whatever, or for SWAT or something like that. And they go to this training facility and they're just trapped. And Ghostface is just picking them off. Like, that'd be so cool. Like, you know, it's just like, it'd be so different, but would it be a Scream movie? You know what I mean? Like, I don't know.
Well, I think that, again, I think that there's ways you could still have a lot of the original DNA of Scream in there, but have these flourishes that move it forward. In other words, as we're watching it, we can't just basically say exactly how it's going to go. You know what I mean? Like, even when we see the trailer, like we see the trailer and we're like, yep, this is the opening scene. Yep, this is going to happen. Yep, she's got on a plaid skirt. Yep, this is going to be the finale. Yep, you know, it's like, I would just like us to go into these films with the mystery being a little bit better. Like, I'm not expecting it to fool us 100%, you know, because we're so locked in, right? But just to do better than what they've been doing. Like, that would be a huge win to me. And you can still have it feel like Scream, but it's just it's enhanced. It's enhanced Scream. That's what it is.
Well, think about the best sequels we've gotten recently. You know what I mean? Like, we were just talking a ton about Saw X on my page earlier today, and I'm just like, that movie rocks for a couple of reasons. But like, not only does it go back to like that old school feel of Saw that was kind of lost in like 8 and 9, but it also like, it shows you a whole new side to this character that you've been following throughout most of those movies. Like, they found a new dimension with Jigsaw. And what it was following him completely from his perspective through one of these situations. And that was so interesting. I want to see something like that for Scream, because I feel like it's been told through the same perspective every single time. You know,
Yeah.
Fate, you were just bringing up like the FBI and stuff. What is it like? Like, what if what if we start a Scream movie 3 kills deep, FBI gets involved, we're following like a Kirby Reed or something like that, like a character like that, their perspective on the Ghostface murder mystery. What does that look like? How could that be a different story? I feel like people would still be invested in that. You know what I mean? Fans of the franchise. I don't think it would be too big of a far cry as long as you have that murder mystery, someone's underneath the mask, maybe the teenage characters that are running around are just kind of like cannon fodder to this story being the focus. Some almost like you could kind of compare that to like In a Violent Nature, where it's like the teen characters are just there to help with the whole Friday the 13th thing that's going on with this.
Vibe.
Yeah, but it's from Jason's perspective this time. You know what I mean? Like something like that with Scream would be so fresh, so fun, and still kind of the same story, right?
Right. It's just the flip side of it.
Yeah, something that I threw out a couple streams ago was, what if we did because Kevin Williamson talked about the Meeks twins. What if we did the Meeks twins going around and trying to solve Ghostface crimes? She's going there. Like you could each, we talk about character development or lack thereof. You don't even need to develop characters outside of those two, because literally all the kills you could pick up like in the middle of the kill. Somebody already all bloody crawling away going, please don't, and then just some awesome kill, right? Like, so you could have like 30, you could have the most kills in the franchise and they're all just these quick little hits, but you're like telling the story of like from Mindy and Chad's perspective of them trying to help solve the Ghostface and get the scoop. And, like Gail never went on the road. Like, that's how we're going to be better. Right. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like, and that'd be so cool. And then you still have this legacy character. You still have all that stuff. You could always tie in Gail in spots if you need to, or Sydney in spots if you need to, if you want to keep that route. Like, I'm with you.
There's ways that they could do it. There's no doubt about it. It's really going to be a question of, I don't know if they want to play it safe or not. And I don't know, man. Mr. Mastermind Killer was saying, The Shining as an isolation. Yeah, that's what I was thinking too. And I think that really could work. I mean, that would match up with the identity idea really well. Erica's throwing in too as well. Thank you so much, Erica. We appreciate you. And she is saying, hit the like button, where she will literally come through the screen and maybe become Ghostface on you. All right.
She can do that.
She can. I've seen her do it. It's really bad. Real quick, guys, Ready or Not 2 as well. Fate, did you get a chance to see it?
I haven't seen it, but it's not doing well.
It isn't.
It's officially a bomb. It's only made what, 19 million?
If that, I think.
Yeah, I think I saw an article that said it, like, after this weekend it officially crossed 19 million. It had a 70% drop or 68% drop.
Yeah, man.
It's a film that didn't need a sequel. I mean, it's
true.
that simple. Like, it didn't need a sequel. And, again, I haven't seen it, so I don't know how good or bad it is. And I've heard it's like, it's okay. It's fun. I've heard it's kind of more of the same, like for everyone that I've talked to about it is like, it's not bad. It's not great. It's not better than the first, right? Like, but it's just, it also came out at like the worst time.
It
like,
did.
They picked the worst time to go ahead, Jake.
I agree.
Well, I gotta throw my 2 cents in there because man, like this movie.
Great. So
I'm gonna jump through the screen and become Ghostface in a second. No, I'm kidding. My thing about this movie is like, you're like, if you haven't seen it, the story, it's like you get to the end and you're like, yeah, we didn't need this.
Yeah,
but the cast is electric. I mean, there's some like the people that are going to be good are great. And then there's some surprise performances where I'm just like, this was so fucking good. Sean Hattasey is on my radar now because of this film. Like, I'm like, why have I not been paying attention to this dude? He's on like The Pit, and that was my first introduction to him. Was like that medical show. And then I'm seeing him here, and he turns into like the main villain of this film, and he's so good. And then I'm hearing about out of nowhere. And dude, I mean, there's this moment with him and Sarah Michelle Gellar that is like stone cold, one of the scariest moments from a villain in a horror film this year so far. And I'm just like, holy shit. Again, the story is whatever. It's just like, this was the Ready or Not sequel you exactly expected with no shock or surprise. But the performances make this thing so damn enjoyable. I don't know.
I totally agree with that. When we
This,
were in
I'm
the
not gonna
theater
lie.
watching it, it was amazing. The crowd was into it. We were clapping and oohing and on. And it was a really fun theater experience. And true, to be honest, when I first heard that they were doing it, and definitely even when I saw the trailer, like I was excited to see these cast members in it, but I was like, man, don't mess this up because we didn't even need a sequel. And I love the original Ready or Not, but just like what Jake said, the cast is Elijah Wood.
Oh my God, he's so
Holy
good in
shit.
this.
Bro, he
Dude.
needs to do more horror movies, man. He really does. Throw away the One Ring and get into some horror, bro. Seriously. I mean,
Hey
it
now,
was
you
great.
know he's coming back as Frodo soon,
He
though.
is.
I'm so
He
excited
really?
for that. Dude,
Yes,
yeah.
he
He's
is.
confirmed for Hunt for Gollum or whatever.
Yeah.
really?
Yeah, you got Ian McKellen, you got him, it's like, man, we're getting the band back together, kind of.
I'm so
I love
excited.
it.
Oh.
Yeah.
The
But,
problem,
yeah.
the problem with this Ready or Not 2, though, from the beginning, it's looked like a blatant cash grab. You have all these names and all these actors, stuff like that. And I'm not saying that it was or wasn't. Again, I haven't seen the movie, but from the beginning, it was like it's a film that doesn't need a sequel. And then it's like, here's Elijah Wood, here's the Sarah Michelle Gellar, here's, Samara Weaving. Oh, we're even going to bring in Catherine Newton, who's, this kind of like, rising star in the space, right? Like, it's just from the moment they announced it, it just felt like, here's the sequel cash grab, which look, I've always defended every movie's a cash grab because every
Yes.
movie's goal is to make money. Like,
That's right.
but
In every sequel,
there's like, okay, like this is just like, it's every movie's a cash grab. And then there's like, this is a cash grab. Like you basically did the same thing again. And all I keep hearing is like, this is basically the same movie, just worse. But hey, it has great actors and actresses in it. Like I just
Performances are a huge deal, I think, with movies, though.
Of course, absolutely. Which has been my reason with Scream, right?
I would even argue that the performances in this one rival or better the performances in the original. And I love the original film's performances of the cast.
Dude, straight up, like this movie, I totally, if people walked away from this one and they were like, that didn't need to happen, I get it. But for the performances alone that I feel like we got something so different from Elijah Wood. He's doing this like deadpan, dry humor that works so well. I mean, it's so like subtly funny. Like there's a moment where like they all realize that somebody in the room is about to explode into blood, and he just very calmly, very relaxed, like goes and hides behind a pillar. Like, and it's just the way he does it is so damn funny. And I don't like, it just had me rolling in the theater. Again, I'm gonna sound like a broken record, but for the performances alone, this is like actually one of my favorite movies of the year. And the story's mid. Like it's just being straight up, it's fine. It's kind of, it finds a way to be like kind of the same thing as the original, but just bigger in scale, like most typical sequels do. Mm-hmm. But my God, dude, you got to see it just for the people in it alone.
I agree, man. Sarah Michelle Gellar, she keeps getting better and better. Please let her get something big where she's like the focus, the lead, because she was devious in this film, bro. When she gave Sean that smack, I was like, get it together, bro. It's like, wow. It was great. It was a fun movie, but yeah, it's not doing well at the box office whatsoever. So it's too bad, but what are you gonna do? Do you guys think that Scary Movie's gonna figure it out?
Oh,
the box office.
I want to add, real quick. I want to add one thing. Elijah Wood, like he's all, because I was trying to find the movie before you guys finished what you were saying. Because he's always been good at those like deadpan things, like Come to Daddy, right?
Oh yeah, okay, yeah.
You know what I mean? Like
I've seen that.
And then there's is it Open Window or whatever? I won't look for the other one, but anyway, there's a couple movies like that where he's kind of this like almost weird, awkward, like, is he a killer? Right?
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
Maniac.
Thing. Yeah, like
exactly
Maniac, right?
Like
there's this like he's really good at like those like weird far out there roles. Like again, like the movie where he's like his dad, goes to visit his dad, but it's like, is it really his dad? Is it like, it's just like it's he's always been really good in those, right?
Yeah.
But, all right, go back to Scary Movies. I just really wanted to mention that. I was trying to find it before you guys finished talking, so I could just easy transition. bit, but you guys
No,
are
it's all good, man. Well, for Scary Movie 6, just obviously we're all excited for Scary Movie 6. Do you guys have any projection of what it's going to do at the box office? I mean, I'm thinking it's going to do bonkers numbers too.
it's the best best R-rated trailer in like ever,
Yep.
right?
Yep.
Isn't it? Like, did it just like I wouldn't be shocked if this movie makes like $500 million. Like this movie's gonna do. I mean, you think horror movies are making 200 million right now? Comedy
Mhm.
or broad. It's the Wayans brothers. It's a new scary movie in the age of that. And this movie does really well, like really well. Like
Mhm.
I wouldn't be shocked if I think bare minimum it's probably 350, 400. But I wouldn't be shocked.
Wow.
Yeah.
Damn.
Ooh, yeah.
We didn't think Scream was gonna touch 200 million.
Mhm.
You know, I asked, do we think it's gonna happen? The general consensus was like, no way, no shot, right? It might.
Oh,
get,
I thought maybe. No,
or
honestly,
whatever.
I was like, it could get up there.
But the fact that it's already past it, and it'll probably still be in theater for a week or two. Scary movie, I think there's more hype in that than there is Scream, especially, and it's more of a broader audience. So if horror movies are making 200 million right now, is it really crazy to think a generalized comedy that has the insane hype that Scary Movie does right now could make an extra 150 million, 100 to
It's
100 million?
it's possible. I mean, it's projected to do in excess of 50 million in the opening weekend.
Yeah.
So, I mean, let's say it hits 50, 55 in the opening weekend and it's got good word of mouth, we're all like, yeah, that was good. It was worth it. And especially if it has something that can be like thrown on the internet 1,000 times, a million times, like
It's
back
gonna
in
be
the
very
day.
meme worthy. It is
Exactly.
1,000%.
If
It's gonna be
they
very
have
meme-worthy.
something that's like, what's up, stuff like that shit, and I think they will, one in my mind, then yeah, it could do over 200 million.
Comedies also have better rewatchability. So you're gonna get more people that will rewatch this than even Scream.
Yeah.
Because again, like there's gonna be people that are like, oh, I didn't understand this joke, or oh man, that was really funny. Let me watch it again, or whatever.
Yeah.
Like you get the general stuff, but then you get just like, you haven't seen that movie? All right, I'll go with you. Let's go. Right? Like, type. So
Well, and the other thing I'll say about this, I was so worried about when the trailer was going to drop. I was like, oh no, is this not going to be funny? I was so worried it was going to just kind of come off as like cringy. Dude, I'm 100% sure this movie's going to be funny from the trailer.
Yeah.
Like that's another reason why I feel like this is definitely going to make bank. It is like, everybody's sold on it already. Like you see that trailer and you're like, they're doing the bits from the original without compromise. You know what I mean? Like here are the same kind of jokes and we're doing them again in this new movie. It feels like Scary Movies 1 and 2, not 3, 4, and 5, like what we're kind of used to now with the franchise, right? So I really think that alone is going to drive people to the theater.
Well, and it's also the type of thing where it's like comedy, and we've talked about this before. Comedy had gotten into a weird space where it was just so safe, and it was almost so safe that it wasn't really funny anymore. Like the stuff that
cancel
I see in
culture.
Absolutely.
Cancel culture was it's kind of like people don't care anymore. Everyone's like, like forget it. So I think people are more willing to test the waters now. Sorry.
Absolutely. And, some of the best comedies from back in the day, had that type of vibe. It's like, let's just do it. We're talking about everybody. Nobody is safe and we're going to do it, but we're going to make it funny and we're going to have the actors, and the team behind the camera to make it pop. And that's what this feels like. It feels like coming back to some really good comedy. And for one, I'm happy to see it because Scary Movie, especially 1 and 2, obviously, dude, I can't tell you how many times I've watched those fucking movies, man. They're just, and they're hilarious. They're still great. They're just awesome. And the whole idea of it ragging on horror movies that I love, that's the icing on the cake. So
it still ruins Scream for me. There's still moments. There's literally moments in Scream where like I've watched it with people and I'll just start busting up laughing. Everyone's like, "Dude, he just like," and I'm like, "Sorry, you won't get it."
Like, well, it ruined I Know What You Did Last Summer for me as well, man. What are you waiting for? It's like, don't do that to Jennifer Love Hewitt, but it's funny as hell.
It's always been the thing that I love about this and why I think it'll be so successful is they, like Jake said, they're not compromising. It's raunchy comedy back again, which we haven't gotten in so long, right? And most of the best comedic movies, I mean, all the way back, like, are all raunchy comedies. Whether people like pretend like they don't like it, they're the ones that are always the most successful, right? Like, you choose to be offended by a joke. It's your responsibility, right? Like, so again, there's obviously punching down and you know, if you're kind of targeting anything, no, this is coming after everybody. It went from, you know, Republicans to, you know, the you know, LGBTQ to,
they do that in the trailer. That's
in the trailer.
They purposefully in the trailer. Yeah. I'm sorry. I have to hit on that because that to me was like, that was the moment where I'm like, okay, this is it. They back to back. There's a joke on like both sides of the political spectrum. And it's like, that's like, to me, that's what I love so much about like South Park and like Scary Movie. It's like, they're going to hit on everybody's getting a joke tossed their way. You know what I mean?
What that also shows, which of course, not to be on a soapbox or anything, but it just shows like, it's a reflection of the world. And it's kind of like, you know, let's not take ourselves so seriously that we can't even enjoy life and enjoy each other. You know, no matter if we disagree or agree with shit, like that's side stuff. You know what I mean? And movies like Scary Movie, I'm not trying to say it's like friggin' The Godfather or anything, but what I'm saying is
not
that
poetry. Everyone knows what it is going into it, right? Like it's a fun time. You laugh at yourself, you laugh at other. It's fun, right?
Yeah,
but it might be what we need right now. You're seeing all these other movies that are starting to be in the works because of the success Scary Movie is having. Like, all it takes is that one. Hollywood's a copycat league. You get you get that one movie like Scary Movie. All of a sudden,
like back in the day, we had Not Another Teen Movie and all those other films that followed it.
Great. Yeah. Like, when was the last like great? I mentioned this before. When was the last like great like comedic film or franchise? It was what, The Hangover?
Probably The Hangover.
There's been some in between, but that's the one that immediately comes to mind. I'm sure that there've been, you know, some here and there. And I'm not saying there haven't been funny movies here and there, but like the ones that are like, man, that was just the iconic ones. You know, like. And again, the trailer was genuinely funny. Dude, when Ray comes around and goes like, "Why half gay?"
Dude,
I love that.
I was like,
it's like he hasn't skipped a beat.
Yeah, I was like, that's great. Like, I was like, that's something I would say, right? Like,
Lord. But like, you know, but what's really cool for us horror fans is like we get that extra layer of it because we love those films.
Exactly.
Like as soon as they came up to the door, you know, you're gonna let us in. It's like, oh man, they're ragging on sinners, and I just want to see how they twist it. And it's hilarious. It's absolutely hilarious. I can't wait to watch this movie.
Well, and one other thing I love about Scary Movie, which is a kind of humor that you don't get too often, is that like just goofy slapstick, which like, it sounds like, you know, you say that word and you just think of, oh, that's what my grandfather used to laugh at, you know? But like, dude, Naked Gun that came out last year was fucking hilarious. And like, it's the same kind of energy. It's the same energy. And I think that movie stood out so much because it is so different from the other releases that we're getting. And I think Scary Movie is about to be the same thing. And truthfully, I think that's why it's just going to make bank, is because it's going to be like an event like nothing else that is coming out this year. And people like shit like that hits these days. Project Hail Mary, great example. There's not another movie like that has come out recently. You know what I mean? That's been like this original IP, just sci-fi movie with a very basic, fun story to it. Like, I haven't seen it yet, but from what I know about it, it's like, it's just, here's this like solid sci-fi movie that isn't based on anything that you've already seen with a very popular actor at the forefront, you know? Like, it's like, dude, that sticks out here in 2026. Everything is a continuation. Everything is based off of IP. You know, Super Mario Galaxy movie comes out in the middle of the week, right? Like, there's shit like that every single week this year, but you get something like a Project Hail Mary or like a Scary Movie 6, which is trying like just a totally different flavor of movie than what we get normally. That's going to stand out. People are going to want to show up to the theater for something like that.
I agree, man. And that's what we need. That's exactly what we need. We need the flavor and the variety. And these films coming back. You're right. I love that movie so much.
I know.
Oh my God.
And they want to do a new Don't Be a Menace, which I love. Like that. I love that movie. Like,
these are classics. Yeah. These are absolute classics, man. And like you guys said, slapstick comedy, it's been around forever. and it's still friggin' funny. You know, Airplane or National Lampoons or American Pie or what,
Monty Python, like they're
Monty
all
Python.
raunchy comedy. Vacation, like all these things are all like raunchy. I'm talking about the original. I know they made like a remake, but
Yeah.
you know, with
Chevy Chase.
Chevy Chase. There you go. Yeah,
I
like
thought the
you know,
remake
like,
was pretty good.
Yeah, it was okay.
but
I thought
it was.
It's not the original.
Yeah,
No.
it's not the original.
Yeah.
Right?
Chevy
I'm saying, like,
Chase is a master.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah,
come on
you.
now, but
but that's what I'm saying. Like you, like from the beginning of time, it's all been slapstick, raunchy type of comedies. You know, all the National Lampoon movies, Van Wilder, all that stuff. Right? Like, you know, all the way through. Like they're all that. Harold and Kumar, come on.
Oh,
like,
those
I
are
love
fun.
Harold and Kumar.
those are
Oh
the
my
great,
god.
like those movies are awesome. Like all
Yeah.
like there's so many great movies that you have that just again, you know, super bad. Yeah,
Yes.
like that's just raunchy. Like that's the high school teen movie that's just like ridiculous and over the top, right? Like, you know, I mean, the original Scary Movie was that. You know, you have Miss Man and her balls are hanging out while she's walking around talking to like today, like you like something like 3 years ago, you couldn't do something like that.
Right.
You'd be canceled off the planet for something like that.
Yeah.
I don't know. They might be able to get away with something like that. Like I said, all it takes is that one person who doesn't care. And then it does really well. They bring it out. It obviously has to work. You know, like the difference between offensive and non is, was it actually good?
Yep.
You know, like it's like that's really what it boils down to. If it's funny, people forget. You know, but if you're just throwing something out there, it's like, hey, that was racist, or hey, that was sexist, or hey, that was that. But if it's funny,
there's a difference between a joke and, you know, just being a dick. You know what I mean? Like
there is. Yeah.
I think I think we're slowly as a society seeing the difference a little more.
Yeah. We're relearning that.
Yeah.
we used to know that, but now we've had to relearn it in the last several years. Real quick too, you guys in the chat are cracking me up, man.
Porky's Police Academy.
Police Academy, Half Baked,
yeah.
yes.
Half
Oh
Baked
my
as well.
god,
I forgot about
dude,
that.
those are great movies, man. Comedies. American Pie is awesome. These are you know, we need these movies to come back. You know, this type of comedy and just fun. You know, we need some fun, man. But you know, this is almost the same type of thing we were talking about. Just to kind of circle it back to Scream 8 before we head on off. Same type of thing we were kind of talking about as far as, you know, taking chances, kind of, you know, pushing things, and so that you can actually connect with the people that are watching. That's what Scream 8 has to do, one way or the other, whether it's the director, the writers, whatever, and hopefully they'll figure out a way to do it. Fingers are crossed. All right, guys. Well, hey, thank you guys so much for hanging out with us. We really appreciate it. This we went all over the place with this. This was a blast to do. As always, don't forget to the like button, and also let us know what you think in the comments, whether it's Scream 8 theories, what you want out of Scream 8, what you thought of Ready or Not 2, and also what you're expecting from Scary Movie 6. Will it hit that $50 million for the opening weekend? I think it will. It might even do like 55. Let us know in the comments, and we will catch you guys next time. And as always, the collective has spoken. Peace.
Thank you.